Today I have a very exciting show where we're going to be talking about the importance of estate planning and asset protection for investors and families. And here with us to tell us how to get it right, my great friend Peter Tinoco, registered investment advisor and managing partner of ASI Family Office. Peter, thank you for being with us. Peter, explain to us a little bit about what estate planning actually is and how asset protection is an important strategy within estate planning.
Ricardo, estate planning and asset protection are two strategies in order to protect the assets that the family or a person has. It can be if the family has, aside from having assets, it has kids. Obviously, it is a process of transferring the assets to the inheritance. If you protect the assets, it can be from creditors mainly, and you can protect them both in your lifetime by having on top of the assets corporations in order to protect the liability, or having the trust in top of the assets. So in the second generation, when you die and pass away, the second generation is 100% protected. All of the assets that are within the trust are 100% protected on that generation.
So who should be thinking about estate planning and asset protection?
Any family or person that has assets, it is regardless of the age you have. Whenever you start having assets, it's a family or a person that needs to be thinking in any of these strategies.
Okay. And what are some of the main benefits to a good estate planning, and what are some of the consequences if you don't get it right?
The main benefits are if you get disabled, it helps to mention who is going to be the person in charge of handling the assets of the person that is disabled. If you die, the transferring of the assets, when the assets are transferred, when the people that inherit the assets are going to be able to manage the assets, the confidentiality issue, the protection in the second generation of the assets against creditors, and who is going to be able to control the assets afterward. All those strategies or all those benefits are within the estate planning overview, basically.
And what about taxes? I mean, especially estate taxes in the United States, which are onerous, particularly for foreigners who have assets in the United States. What kind of benefits from a tax point of view would you say are involved when you start planning your estate?
Yeah, that is a great question. I would say, as a foreign investor, the main question is always the tax issue in terms of estate planning. If you are a foreign investor, that is an asset that is taxed when you pass away, and it only has an exception on $60,000. So if you have an asset that is worth $1 million and you are the only owner of the asset, and you are a foreigner, and that asset doesn't have any mortgage, basically, if you pass away, they subtract $60,000 from the total value of the asset when you pass away, and basically 40% of that goes towards paying. 40%
of the difference will go towards paying the estate tax.
So that would be a negative consequence of not doing a well-structured estate plan.
And in that case, would you build a trust around that asset, or would you create a personalized strategy for the individual or the family, depending on the circumstances?
Depending if the family is a foreign investor, or if it is a domestic investor, you create not only a trust, because the trust doesn't minimize or avoid any taxes. The trust is only to avoid probate, among other things. But you need to put in place offshore companies and also domestic companies in order to create a great structure to minimize the estate tax.
Now, explain to us really quickly about probate, because in many countries outside of the United States, the probate process as it exists here, it doesn't exist. It's done in a different way. Explain to us the probate process here.
Well, it is true that the probate process in different countries, it is either similar or very different. But here, if you don't have a trust, you basically have to go in for all the assets through the legalization of the inheritance. And the way it is that it is between, if there is not a fight within the heirs, it is between 6 to 8 months that lasts all the probate process. So all the assets are frozen. You need to go to court. If there's not a fight, basically it will last 6 to 8 months, paying lawyers, paying all the creditors that are owed to them, any type of money, and then after all that is done, the assets are basically distributed if there is not a fight within the
right.
inheritance.
So explain to me briefly, if I'm a foreign investor and want to invest in real estate properties here in the United States, what are some of the things that I need to think about?
Well, for sure, as a foreign investor, it really doesn't matter if it is a vacation home or an investment. If you want to protect the asset, the real estate investment from state tax, you need to obviously put an offshore company, or you need to implement an offshore company strategy in order to avoid or minimize the tax. The trust basically avoids or eliminates the probate process in any country, but what really eliminates the tax is the offshore company.
So this is a large and complex topic, and depending on the structure of the family and the nature of the assets, the great benefit of having a friend like Peter is that they can really tailor solutions to each situation. So I invite the audience who is listening to reach out to us, give us your questions, give us your feedback, share with your networks, and we would love to hear your thoughts on this interview so we can share with Peter and he can help any of you out if you are thinking about coming to invest. Peter, thank you very much for explaining this very important and complex topic to us. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. We'll come back next month with a new one. Till then, I hope you have an awesome day. Thank you.